everybody. Welcome to another edition of the NBA Slate Starter podcast. I'm Eric, joined with my buddy Ryan as we break down Tuesday's five-game NBA slate on DraftKings, FanDuel, and Yahoo. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's 5 games. Yes, I'm a trained professional over here. Nothing to worry about. We just got done watching the end of the Chiefs game. We stayed up late. You're staying up late, burning the midnight oil over there on the East Coast. And this NBA slate, Andre Drummond, confirmed good chalk. How you doing, my dude?
Good. I did not have 100% Andre Drummond. I had 98%. So go figure.
I think I had 98 too. No.
Yeah, I
We're
just
not very sharp.
The slate ended up becoming too easy for people where there was not enough uncertainty. And I love, as a tournament player, I love uncertainty and trying to take advantage of that. There's just too many many good plays, I thought.
Yes and no. I mean, I played Gorgie Jang. Gorgie Niang. Why can I not say
Gorgeous
my
Niang?
own favorite Iowa State? Gorgeous Niang. Yeah, but I don't know why I have this mental block about it. It's so weird. Iowa State days, my absolute dude. He was like 1 or 2%. You were going to have Danny Green break the slate until he got hurt, which was kind of crazy as well. A lot of crazy pieces, but the one I thought that was really sharp, and I know that Josh Engelman was talking about it on the Live Before Lock show. Jared Allen, man. I know Kevin Love out there. Jared Allen confirmed good alongside Lauri Markkanen, alongside Mobley. All three of them kind of got there in a meaningful way with no Kevin Love out there. Kind of an interesting dynamic that they have where they have so many bigs. Where does Kevin Love get traded here before the trade deadline?
I don't know if he's going to get traded. I think it's more than anything he gets bought out is what I think ends up happening. It's going to be an expensive buyout. I believe he is out with health and safety protocols. Along with Tobias Harris. Tobias Harris getting ruled out changed a lot for me really quickly. I ended up on a ton of Korkmaz and Maxey. Unfortunately, Maxey was one of my highest owned players on the slate, and he ruined a lot of my lineups for me. But Korkmaz and Embiid were my two highest players on this slate. So on to tomorrow we go. It seemed like a slate where you could have been really successful. Just a lot of pieces pit right off the bat, but it's DFS. There's always plays that you miss out on.
I think Korkmaz. Shake Milton was my guy over on DK. I ended up having a ton of him. He was cheap, and I really didn't know what else to do there. But Paul George and Batum, they can maybe save a little bit for me. It's Alexei Pokusevski night though for a showdown. For those who are keeping track at home, what in the frickin' world? Basketball is insane. But we love DFS. We love talking and we love the strategy of it. And we've got a nice 5-gamer. That means we got to go to the ends of the benches, the ends of the world to find some value on slates like this. There is a lot of news that's pending, but looks like a pretty good one. Should be fun. You ready to get going, my dude?
Let's ride.
All right. On the top end of DraftKings, Luka Doncic, 11,100. Russell Westbrook, 9,900. Donovan Mitchell, 8,800. De'Aaron Fox, we've talked a little bit, you and I, not on the show necessarily, or maybe we did like once or twice, but De'Aaron Fox, when the world's going out with De'Aaron Fox. I really don't even know how to break it down. Sure, there's a lot of cooks in the kitchen. Harrison Barnes, Buddy Hield, Tyrese Halliburton. You've got, even Rashawn Holmes is getting a little bit of usage. It's just kind of hard to pin down if he's going to have a ceiling here going forward. I want to expect some positive regression, but what do you think's going on with him? And then talk to me about the top end of point guard.
Yeah, just like Dame Lillard, I think De'Aaron Fox is hurt. Simple as that. I think he's playing hurt. Some sort of shoulder injury, I want to say. He's just out of sync. NBA players obviously fight through injuries. Maybe it's a lot worse than it thinks, and I think he's simply hurt. So $8,600 versus Utah De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to be staying away. I'd rather spend an extra $200 for Mitchell at 88. Luka and Russ, you already know what they're going to bring to the table every night. Luka priced up at 11-1. It's going to be a contrarian spend up option for sure with Giannis on the slate. I feel a lot of people would prefer there, but Luka is Luka. Can light up this box score in many ways. It just hasn't happened this year so far. Just sprinkling down a little bit. Guys like Chris Paul, 7,600 versus New Orleans. I like that price tag for him. Kyle Lowry, I think, is now priced appropriately at $7,100 for this Miami role. Tyler Hero up to $6,900 has been balling, leading sixth man of the year candidate. Has been really impressive. Another guy I think we can take our chances on is Kevin Porter Jr. I think that's a fine option to consider. How do you feel about that situation?
Kevin Porter Jr.?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to play a lot of him on FanDuel. We'll get to him over there. I think on DK as well, 6,200. Yeah, it's a nice price tag. You're getting Russell Westbrook defense. I think I pointed this out the other day where I don't necessarily think the Lakers are going to have as good of a defense as they've had in years past. Avery Bradley is starting to crack the rotation. He's not there to shoot the basketball. We'll put that out there. But Alex Caruso gone. A number of these other guys that they've had on the defensive end, KCP, very competent defender, less competent defending that they're having around the perimeter. And Russell Westbrook doesn't play very good defense. He hustles around and runs around a lot, but I think he's a little bit lazier than people think he is on the defensive end of the floor. So definitely some upside there with Kevin Porter Jr. Not that individual defense is something I really give a you-know-what about. Killian Hayes, 4,200. Hey. No, I'm not going to do that.
I'll take his teammate, Cade Cunningham, 3,600. I know he was on a minutes
Why is he
limit.
still 3,600? What are they doing? God, he was just like 35%. God, I'm sick of DraftKings just incompetently pricing people at stupid numbers and stupid things, and just play over at this spot right here. Or hang on, how do I do that?
No, you had it right.
Pointing at and then this to the FanDuel one over there. That's good too. You're branding everything today, but yeah, on DraftKings, that's just such an annoying number because these rookies have been super, super cheap, and he only played 19 minutes. He shot the ball like an absolute dunce cap, 1 for 8, 0 for 5 from 3. Expect positive regression there. I hate basketball. Keep going.
Yeah, the other spend down option would be George Hill, no Chris Middleton with health and safety protocols, $3,800. I expect Cade Cunningham to be very popular, if not the highest owned player on the slate. He was nearing that until we got news he was going to be in a minutes limit. So they might be still easing him back in, but I'll definitely be taking my chances in tournaments for sure.
And if you're trying to get really weird, and again, this is just something on DK, and I guess you probably don't need to do it if Cade Cunningham can produce at a fancy point per minute, kind of something that I would expect him to do as the number one pick for a Detroit team that's not very good. So if he plays 22 minutes, you're expecting 22 fantasy points, something in that ballpark, I would be thinking. But a pivot, if you wanted to just get different, Corey Joseph is 3,500 there. He's played 27 and 21 minutes the last two. Strange to see his minutes go down when Cade Cunningham took the day off. But somebody that can play mid-20s minutes randomly, and it's a very diluted rotation, but he's cheap. He's 3,500. Rajon Rondo, no. Kira Lewis Jr. actually was somebody who was on my radar. He ended up playing 16 minutes, 5 for 10 from the field in a competitive game against the Knicks, but probably shot the ball a little over his head. But those are the kind of pieces of value, if we don't get phenomenal value to pop up from injury news, that you can maybe take shots on.
I definitely agree with you there. I'm just going to hop on over to the FanDuel side of things. I mean, Luka's only 10-4 there. Great tournament option. Don Mitchell, 8K, point guard, shooting guard. Really love that price tag. Russ is 9-2, solid as it gets. We talked about Chris Paul. Okay, De'Aaron Fox is 7,700. I'm still going to be a little concerned, but it's a really good price tag. But guys who stand out at their price tags on FanDuel are guys like Kyle Lowry, Mike Conley, 5,500 Conley, 5,900 Kyle Lowry. What a time, how far they have fallen. But you got to love their price tags at that range. And if we get Cade Cunningham unleashed, he's 5K in FanDuel. I'll definitely take my chances there as well.
Yeah, if you're going to get no rostership. I mean, he was like 36%. Like, these are two identical tags of what they were the last slate. And different games, different conditions. Every slate is different. But with the identical tags, he was like 36%, I think, in the $15 on DK. He was like 7 or 8% on the main iteration of FanDuel. So something to keep in mind there. Be sensitive to rostership, be sensitive to all of those things. And that's what we have the tools here to help you do. Rounding out the point guard position on Yahoo, Luka Doncic, $49, Russell Westbrook, $45, De'Aaron Fox, $37. Probably have the least interest in De'Aaron Fox. I'm going to side with the fact that I think I might get to him a little bit more than you do, $7,700. If he's got something going on with him, you know, that's a bummer, but I don't want to play him on Yahoo. I'll play him on the other sites. Then you're getting down to the cheapies here. Davion Mitchell there, $14. I don't know what to make of that. I don't think there's enough usage there to make him viable. But yeah, you're kind of looking at the same situation there. Kyle Lowry, Kevin Porter Jr., Mike Conley, all sticking out. Anybody else for you?
Yeah, that trio sticks out for sure. And I think you can definitely take your chances with a $10 George Hill at the still in minimum on Yahoo. But that's really the Yahoo point guard slate.
All right, to the top end of shooting guard on DraftKings, we got Donovan Mitchell, 8,800. Devin Booker, 8K. Tyler Hero, 6,900. That thing keeps on climbing. 6,600. The last two slates now up to 6,900 against Dallas. There's a ceiling there. He's been one of the surprises, I would say, for the early NBA season. I think we were both dogging on him the first night of the entire season, where it's like, I don't want to pay $6K for Tyler Hero. And all he does is pay it off every single freaking night out, but whatever. Tim Hardaway Jr. does not. 6,100 down there for him, and has no ceiling. Just absurd. So watch him go for 50 now that I said that. But it is a disgusting position here. I mean, Devin Booker and Donovan Mitchell seem a little expensive. I think I'll take my shots at Devin Booker, but talk to me about anybody you see on the shooting guard slate.
Yeah, guys who have shooting guard eligible on DraftKings. Booker, Mitchell are fine, and Harrell are fine. Nothing too exciting, but it gets a little more exciting as you go a little cheaper. Guys like Jalen Green, Jordan Clarkson, I like their price tags. Grayson Allen, I love at $4,800, taking on a Detroit team. Remember, no Chris Middleton. I expect him to be one of the more popular plays going into the slate, and rightfully so. And it's tough not to love that price tag. His teammate Pat Connaughton, $4,600, strong play also as well. And going down a little cheaper, I mean, Cade Cunningham is shooting guard eligible, has eligibility, and that's really about it. I'm interested to see how Trey Murphy's role evolves in this New Orleans team, but that's a GPP dart throw at $3,200. Nothing too crazy there. I think that's even maybe too cute, but that's really it on the shooting guard because Cade Cunningham is shooting guard eligible. And Grayson Allen does. It's really tough to have a ton of interest in the expensive tier.
Yeah, I think him and Kira Lewis Jr., both Pelicans punts, you can play for the sake of what their tag is there. I mean, Frank Jackson, I think if we've tried to make him a thing, he's not a thing. 3,200 as well. Pure price plays if you want to rotate through, if you want to stars and scrubs it, and there's no value. I would say the DraftKings pricing has been, today I thought it was tight until we had a plethora of value to kind of comb through at the very end there. I think it's back to a little bit tight, and I'm sure we're going to get value again throughout the day tomorrow. So check news, check premium, Discord. Those are the things that you can do to help yourself out and be ready to take on the slate. Top end of shooting guard on FanDuel. Luka Doncic is available there. Jimmy Butler, 10K. Russell Westbrook, because he's a shooting guard, is available there, 9,200. And Devin Booker, 8,200. Donovan Mitchell, 8K, same kind of number there. Looks like a better, more enticing top end of shooting guard on FanDuel.
And I agree. I think Donovan Mitchell at $8,000 against the Sacramento team, I'll have interest in him for sure. Donovan Mitchell is very solid, just play overall with the upside. 8K, I'm definitely interested in that. I won't talk you off of Devin Booker. He'll be very low owned, and Booker obviously has a ceiling. And just talk about Russ. This Lakers team, I think the best recipe for them for success has been playing Houston 2 games in a row to really help them find a groove against a bad team. So they looked fine the last time out, and I think Russ is starting to fit in a little bit with the system. It's going to take some time. They played 0 preseason games together. The first 2-3 weeks is their preseason, in my opinion, for this Lakers team. But spending a little bit down, Green and Clarkson are fine considerations at this price tag. But Grayson Allen, $4,900, is still a pretty strong play over here. And Cade Cunningham, just an asterisk play at this moment at 5K. If we get any news or notes from Dwayne Casey saying no minutes limit for Cade Cunningham, I'll definitely go there. Outside of that, in the cheaper range, maybe Kent Bazemore, but that's just a long shot tournament play. Shooting guards kind of just bunched around in the mid tier over there on FanDuel, and plus Donovan Mitchell.
God, Dwayne Casey, you said him and I'm triggered. Okay, Donovan Mitchell, $39 on Yahoo. Devin Booker, $32. Cade Cunningham, $27. Also going to say don't play Cade Cunningham on Yahoo. That's a dumb number. $27. We don't need to do such things. I mean, that's just absurd. I mean, De'Aaron Fox, $37, and Cade Cunningham, $27. Maybe 2 of the worst plays you could possibly have on Yahoo tomorrow. Just one man's opinion. But then you kind of get down to the rest of the position. Tyler Hero, $22 there. God, they're asking us to play Josh Jackson at $14, and I will not do it. I will not do it. What are you seeing at shooting guard on Yahoo?
Yeah, in that same game, I'd rather take a $13 Grayson Allen, a $12 Robinson. Robinson can get hot from the outside. I think those are fine options. And Tim Hardaway Jr., $18, I think is a fine consideration as well. Yeah, I think that's really the shooting guard slate. I mean, if you want to go spend a little bit less than that, I don't advise doing that, because outside of Robinson, no one at the $10 price tag If you get some sort of situation with no LeBron James, Malik Monk would open up at $10, but that's really about it.
Want to see a magic trick? Oh, look at that. New Yahoo users get 1 free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum. All you do right now, if you have never played over at Yahoo, which is a lovely site, super low management fees, other people call that rake, call it what you will. All I know is you're paying less of it over at Yahoo than you are on the main sites. That is how you build. That is how you sustain. That is how you keep all the money in your pocket. It goes directly back to you. Less rake is always a good thing for the player, and they have it at Yahoo. And now you get that free month of Awesemo Plus Platinum when you sign up, deposit $10 or more, enter any paid contest period, and you'll automatically get it. They'll send you a voucher. You send it to support@awesemo.com. Voila, you're set to go. And that's NFL as well. That's MLB. If that continues on here, we've got the World Series here going back to Houston. That game's not tonight. I didn't miss anything, right? It's tomorrow. Cool. Yeah, they weren't going to compete with Monday Night Football because, well, actually, they totally would because baseball is the worst commissioner ever. But we're also looking at MMA. We're looking at every single major sport. Get over there, play at Yahoo, and take advantage of this promotion because it does not get any better than 1 free month just by signing up. So check it out. Yay, look at me. I'm a magician now here on these shows. Bet you didn't see that coming. Luka Doncic, 11,100 on the top of small forward. LeBron James, 10,200. Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Butler, 9,100. This cat. I mean, he was on his pace to just destroy another slate. And they only played 30 minutes. He still put up 49.75 and was fine at 8,600. But they completely blew Memphis out of the water. They faced this Dallas game, which if you have to be thinking is going to be competitive. So weird to say this, but I don't think Jimmy Butler is an overpay at 9,100. What about you? I can't.
On this slate slide, no, not at all. I do like LeBron James's price tag at 10-2 if he were to play against his Houston team. I definitely take my chances there. But no, Jimmy Butler is not an overpay. Just small forward eligible, so his ownership might be a little lower compared to the other guys around the slate. Harrison Barnes has been off to the best fantasy basketball start of his career. He's been balling, man. I think he had 15, 10, and 5 the other day. Small forward, power forward, $7,400. Not that interested in him. It seems that's buying really high on Harrison Barnes. I'll be avoiding that. Grayson Allen has small forward eligibility. I'd be willing to look there. Mikal Bridges, $5,200. I don't mind that price tag. Bojan Bogdanovic can get hot from the outside with threes. And I'd be willing to go back to Jordan Nora. I know he burned everyone and their mom last time. I will be going right back to him, $4,500.
No.
Against his Detroit team.
No.
I have no issues.
I hate this guy. No. Please, no.
Oh, you got to.
No.
You got to.
No.
I mean, I don't care about recency bias, and I will be going right to Jordan Nora. I think there's a chance where he pays off this price tag pretty easily if things go well.
I had like 75% of him the other night.
You weren't alone. I was there with you.
Jordan Nwora has cost me a lot of money. I feel like Jordan Nwora is only the guy who played in the first game of the season, and I've like neglected everything that I've seen from him since. So yeah, cool, awesome. We're gonna play Jordan Nwora. I literally said on the show on Sunday, I did live before lock. I said I don't see how it's possible with Chris Middleton off the floor that he fails. I just don't. I don't see it. Yeah, so it was on me.
Welcome to DFS.
I hate everything. It's fine. I'm just a lonely Vikings fan trying to make it in a cold, cruel world. Okay, Pat Connaughton, 4,600 there as well. $100 more. It's nifty. As we said, the main piece of news that you're going to be sitting on here for this slate, I'm sure we're going to have more. LeBron James, obviously questionable, but I would assume that he's probably going to play. Maybe he doesn't against Houston. It's more 50-50. I think Brandon Ingram probably is siding more towards doubtful in this spot. He's considered day-to-day here. They played 2 nights ago? And it'll be 2 nights ago as of you guys listening to this on Tuesday. And he sat out that one. I don't think that he's going to end up playing here. But we shall see. And in the event that he doesn't, every single Pelican becomes super, super viable. The timing of that news really matters. That's the Phoenix game. That's 10 p.m. Eastern time, 7 p.m. my time out here on the West Coast. But then you got a guy that, I didn't hear about until he started, every game here. Herbert Jones finally had an outing where it was fantasy viable. He did have 3 steals in it, but 3,500. I think he's kind of like the chalk of the position in the event that you get news in the afternoon that Brandon Ingram's out. What do you think about him?
Yeah, I think that's a fine, cheap value option. We haven't mentioned many guys outside of Cade Cunningham, starting with the price tag of 3 over there on DraftKings. So you have to find someone else to fit in some studs. So yeah, I think if the news works out, definitely be well over the field on Herbert Jones. But if Ingram's playing, not much interest there.
And if Hamidou Diallo starts, just don't talk to me because I won't be able to competently say anything correct. All right, small forward over on FanDuel on the top end. Giannis Antetokounmpo is available there. Should probably play some Giannis. 10,000 Jimmy Butler. Big number Jimmy Butler. I don't know how much I get there, but the guy has stocks upside. He fills up the box score in a number of ways. He has not failed to put up 40 plus in his last 5. I mean, that's not good at 10K, but I mean, he's also put up 50 plus in his last 4, and one of those was in 30 minutes. So what can I say? Jimmy Butler's just out of his mind right now. Then LeBron James, 9,800. I bet you really like that one. Harrison Barnes, 7,700. I listen to you, so therefore I know that you don't like that. But then it gets interesting. The rest of the position, Kevin Porter Jr., super chalk again, 5,900. FanDuel just doesn't like him as a person. And then Josh Hart sitting at 5,500. Another guy that we didn't really necessarily talk about there, but up to 30 minutes against the Knicks last time out. Another guy. If you get Brandon Ingram off the floor, jam him in.
Oh yeah, I think you nailed it. You touched on all the guys that stand out. Stand out with their price tags. I do love Giannis. I mean, there is no Drew Holiday and there is no Chris Middleton. Giannis is arguably $2,000 too cheap. The matchup versus Detroit, I love Giannis at $11,300, and it's not. I don't think that's much of a hot take. Other guys that stand out on their FanDuel price tag, Tim Hardaway Jr. 5K, taking on Miami. I think 5K is a price tag where Hardaway Jr. can definitely pay off. Nickeil Alexander-Walker, only $6,100. I like taking my chances there. Duncan Robinson, $4,400, can get hot from the outside. I do think Jay Crowder and Thanasis are fine tournament options, not like that exciting, but it's a small forward position on FanDuel where you kind of have to find 2. So I'm getting a little cheaper guys in value who can pay off a price tag in a matchup where I think can work out for them. But that's really about it on the FanDuel spot.
So somebody was, they went to Discord and then they went on Twitter. I had 2 different people, I think it might have been, that were hitting me up being like, hey, my late swap isn't working here. You know, I late swapped onto Diallo. In NFL, I late swapped away from certain guys. And it's like, oh, well, you don't want to late swap for the sake of late swapping. But what it is over a long period of time, you play the slate out enough times, you have an advantage by late swapping, waiting for news to drop. You hope that it drops after the lock, and you can make assumptions, even if it's just like a quarter of your lineups that you put with, you know, the assumption that Brandon Ingram's going to be out, and you just play the slate out that way with that slate of predictions. You can have a huge advantage. And considering we also have Lakers news, I mean, the timing of it really, really does matter. But I got to be thinking with 4 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern time. So we'll talk about it Eastern time, 7 p.m. Eastern time, then 7:30 p.m. Eastern time. The next game isn't until Sacramento, Utah at 9 p.m. And if you don't have the news by then you got to start making some kind of assumptions for the slate. But the longer you're able to wait on that, the better advantage you're going to have, because plays that are the absolute nuts, that would go nuts for a guy like Brandon Ingram, who's an 8K player, you take him off the floor, or LeBron James, who's a 10K player, and you take him off the floor. All of those players look so much better than any piece of value that you're locking in early. So that is the reason the late swap matters. Just wanted to touch on that. Didn't know if you wanted to add anything, because you are the late swap specialist, one of the best in the world at it.
Yeah, I do think late swapping is very pivotal. And there are days it's going to burn you. It's just the nature of DFS. And you just want to put yourself in a position to come in that 0.1% in tournaments over and over again. And late swap is the best way to get you there more times than not, I want to say. And yeah, I think the argument can go both ways at times, where sometimes you're late swapping onto negative expected value plays, but you're gaining in ownership leverage and potential, just being able to be just a little unique to give you that upside to potentially cross like a chalky play. And that's really important in especially large field tournaments. In small field stuff, yeah, just you can take your chances with the chalky play and you should be fine. But in large field tournaments, you got to get a little different to come up on top.
Ricky Bobby, if you ain't first, you're last. That's the damn it, Ricky. I was high when I said that. So good. All right, top end of small forward on Yahoo. Jimmy Butler, $43. Brandon Ingram there, 36. But LeBron James, 42. That's a great tag. I think that's kind of a nice spend up option there. Josh Hart, $14, pending the Ingram news, is just phenomenal at that spot. Herbert Jones, also viable, $11. I'll have a lot of the two together. You obviously have the forward spot, the utility spot, and I think that they just become outrageously good plays without him out there. Thanasis and Antetokounmpo, how about that? Dude played 32 minutes. Most minutes that he had played in an NBA game where he started and there wasn't 50 million bucks out. So I thought that was pretty fascinating to see him enter. I mean, he's been in the starting rotation a couple of times here now, but just a lot of run there. He is going to have to be somebody who fills up minutes for this team. So I think he's really intriguing. And at $11, sign me up for some.
Definitely. Him and his teammates, Jordan Noor and Pat Connaughton, I will have definitely some interest in for sure. And I think you touched on all the strong Yahoo plays. No one really to add. I don't mind Mikal Bridges at $18, a guy with steals upside. Can rack those up on the Yahoo scoring for sure.
Love it, love it, love it. Let's go to power forward on the top end on DraftKings. Giannis is 11,600. I still don't care. If you have value, you play the raw projected plays that are the best, and Giannis is always going to be that, period, end of sentence. Don't care if he burned you last time out. Really don't want to hear it. Don't care. Move on with your life. He's the best fantasy point performer on planet Earth. There's no Drew Holiday and Chris Middleton. Just play the dude. Just play him. Just play him. All right, rant over. That wasn't as good as my Vikings rant, but I tried. Here we are. LeBron James, 10-2. Anthony Davis, 9,700. Yo, boy. He's probable. I mean, do you just fire him up and hope LeBron doesn't play, or do you just have a little bit of both?
Oh, I'll have some Anthony Davis for sure. You know what they did with AD last time? They let him start at the 5. And
it's about
AD,
damn time.
Yeah, AD
and DeAndre Jordan played great off the bench.
Yeah, there was no Dwight Howard, as Dwight Howard had a rest day. So I love Anthony Davis sub 10K. You guys who listen over the over the last season or so, I mean, I'm always on that Anthony Davis play, and I'll be on it yet again. $9,700, all about it. No issues asked, but yeah, the opportunity cost of missing out on 11-6 Giannis Antetokounmpo is quite to worry about. So I really love Giannis at 11-6. I think a lot of indications there he can pay off that price tag. Going down in the next range of guys, I don't know what's happening with Porzingis. I think it's just just not working. Jeremy Grant's $7,200, priced appropriately, maybe a little too expensive. The next tier of guys, we have Thanasis is all the way down. I'm sorry, I had to jump all the way down to $3,100 Thanasis. That is a solid value option. Probably, if for some reason Cade Cunningham's limited, he's the best value play on the slate. And the next guy is Bobby Portis at $4,400 power forward center. I know he's been limited, but he played up to 19 minutes last time against the Detroit team. Hopefully Bobby Portis can crack the mid-20s. And I think Portis makes for a phenomenal option tomorrow. I'll be definitely above the field on Bobby Portis if there's no search news, because I think people will be very uncertain with the situation and what's going to happen. So I really like that $4,400 Bobby Portis price tag.
Love that as well. Let's jump over to FanDuel on the top end. Same kind of conversation, but it starts to get interesting when you have Christian Wood sitting there. He's freaking 7,900. That is too low for Christian Wood. Obviously, the ceiling has started to temper off a little bit. I would say we definitely project him higher than I would say most other sites do around the industry, but I think it's pretty much talking to the longevity that Christian Wood is going to be the main fantasy catalyst of this entire team. And the one thing I didn't touch on yet, because we just kind of got here, is the position. Jayshawn Tate, I believe, is questionable, and Daniel Tice is questionable. You get both of them out, you could be looking at, even if they're down 15, 20 points in this spot, you could be looking at 35 minutes of Christian Wood without those guys. Sign me up for that.
Yeah, I think if Christian Wood can stay out of foul trouble against AD, definitely $7,900 price tag is pretty solid. But keep in mind, AD, Giannis, LeBron James all have power forward eligibility over there in FanDuel, where we can roster two of those guys. Definitely trying to find a way to get to at least some of those guys in throughout my lineups. Scrolling down the price range, I mean, Rashawn Holmes priced up to $7,500. He's earned it. He's playing really well. Porzingis is 7. Not sure what's happening there. Barnes 77. Too expensive for me, I think. Jeremy Grant priced appropriately, $7,400. I think he's a tournament play where he does have an upside within him. which is okay, but I just think it's too expensive. Just in the next tier, guys, price tags that stand out. Carmelo Anthony is priced up at 6K. No thanks. I think that is the highest maybe we see Carmelo Anthony all year. But the string of Milwaukee guys is tough to avoid. Thanasis, Bobby Portis, and Jordan Nora. I have a good feeling two of those three guys are going to be pretty solid value options tomorrow. I don't know which two are going to hit. We'll see what the ownership looks like, where you can pivot and match off of that. But that's the power forward spot on FanDuel. There's Milwaukee's going to be this core of our plays tomorrow, and I don't see why the ownership won't be there either.
All right, and then we're looking top end of power forward on Yahoo. Giannis, $56, hefty. Don't care, pay for it. Kristaps, we don't know, he's questionable. Excuse me. Anthony Davis, $48. Jeremy Grant, then it just plummets, drops off a cliff to $25 for Jeremy Grant. I'd be okay with some Jeremy Grant here. I can probably get behind that at that number. Then you're just basically punting down here to the depths of the sea. I see nothing under $13 that I want to play. How about you?
Yeah, I don't see much either. I mean, speaking of Giannis, you got to pay for nice things over there on Yahoo. At $56, I'd be paying for that for sure. Anthony Davis, $48. You can save a lot with $8 on Yahoo. It's going to be a unique roster build. And if you believe that if Detroit is going to get waxed by Milwaukee and we don't get 3.5 quarters of Giannis, Anthony Davis is a great pivot. Jeremy Grant's fine. Great price tag at $25. Scrolling a little bit down on this Yahoo price tag. Oh, it is bad. I mean, if Daniel Tice starts and plays, maybe at $10, but man, I guess I got to mention Cam Johnson. Yeah, he's in the rotation.
$10. I saw that.
$10 there. So, yeah, that's it. Yahoo's bleak. I mean, I do think it's going to be popular with Grant, AD, and Giannis tomorrow for sure.
If Milwaukee does blow them out, we're probably going to be happy with the result because you're going to have a lot of value pieces that were probably the reason why. Giannis would probably end up being maybe the casualty of it, but it's still Giannis. And I think the field is starting to figure out what we knew a long time ago, and that's just play Giannis every single slate because
it's Giannis every single slate, but Giannis on tomorrow's slate is very different. There's no Chris Middleton, there's no Drew Holiday, there's no Brook Lopez. It's like Giannis is has all the Thanos in him, so he's just gonna go insane. It's just we never get to see this type of Giannis. It's gonna be something. That's why I think he's just 20% too cheap across every site we've mentioned.
You say Thanos, I say Thanos or Thanos. Marvel. We're going Marvel. Do we want to talk some Marvel? Also, that Asian girl that's in the Eternals is the most beautiful person that I've ever seen in my entire life. Gima Chan, is that her name? Is that her name? You know what I'm talking about?
You're in Hollywood, so
oh my God, she's in Crazy Rich Asians, and I'm pretty sure that it's just not even real life. She's the most attractive person ever, and she's 5 years older than me. She was born in 82. I saw that the other day too in an interview. Nobody cares about these facts. These are just Eric talking at 9 o'clock. It's midnight out there on the East Coast. Let's round this puppy out. Top end of center. We're going to have some value here. There's one player in particular, Bam Adebayo. He's questionable. In the event that he's not there, Dwayne Dedmon, 3,800, becomes perhaps the best play of the entire slate down there for center and maybe even best piece of value amongst a lot of other value that we could have there. He got in foul trouble early. It was one of the more tilting things ever, and he still got there. Still did not burn you or whatever. Didn't probably, it wasn't enthralling at 23 points, but he's going to play way more than 17 minutes if he keeps his hands to himself. But Jonas Valanciunas, 8,500. What more can I say? Who was it before the season started who said he'd be 9K plus? Oh yeah, no, that was me. Go ahead and talk to me about center.
Yeah, Giannis has center eligibility. AD have yet center eligibility. You already know how I feel about those two guys. But the next guy who I like quite a bit is Rudy Gobert, $8,100. He's just been rock solid all year long. If Bam Adebayo plays with no minutes restriction, he's too cheap at $7,500. I think that's a fine price tag. So going a little bit down. Christian Wood's too expensive here. $8,500. Jonas Valanciunas. Yeah, he's been a stud all year long, but I think I'd be willing to pivot to $2,000 cheaper and Rashawn Holmes, $2,200 to be exact. Only $6,300. He's been pretty solid all year long. And in the next tier, lower guys, Bobby Portis has center eligibility. If we know that he doesn't have any sort of minutes limit coming off injury, I'm all about that. And yeah, you nailed it on the Dedmon situation. If there's no Bam, I think we can go to Dedmon for sure. I don't know how the matchup strings out for Dedmon to stay on the floor where Miami might be able to go small. So that he might lose some minutes there in terms of that matchup. But I think he's a fine value option as we're always looking for value to gem and studs.
Yep. Love it. Going to FanDuel on the top end, Anthony Davis, Jonas Valanciunas, 8,600 there. Bam, 8,500, get him more over on DK. 7,500, such a good tag from there. Rudy Gobert, 8,200. FanDuel just apparently hates him. DeAndre Ayton as well. He's questionable. He ended up having a leg issue and only played 24 minutes. He was on the way to smash that slate apart to himself with the weirdest Cleveland rotation of all time. I can't even talk about it that game. It was so tilting. But 7,800 would be a great number if he ends up active there. In the event that he's out, is there anybody that we're kind of looking at? JaVale McGee, 4,300. Is that somebody that we should be talking about?
Yeah, I definitely can see JaVale McGee getting a significant rotation run and being a solid value. Maybe he gets around mid-20s minutes in this matchup versus Jonas Valanciunas. They're going to need a body if there's no Ayton, but I do expect Ayton to be out there. But you never know with news. McGee is definitely a strong value option at $4,300. He'll be even a better value option than Bobby Portis, who's $4,700. But spending up for guys like Gobert and Anthony Davis are fine. And if Bam plays, I think it works out well. And Jonas Valanciunas, I think we can continue to ride that price tag at $8,600. I think there's a lot of ways to mix and match on a 5-game center slate. No real reason to spend anywhere below Bobby Portis and if JaVale McGee starts and plays, I don't see anyone below that price range worth playing over there on FanDuel tomorrow. So that's really about it on the FanDuel center side of things.
Neither do I. Let's head to Yahoo to round this sucker out, shall we? All right. Jonas Valanciunas, $39. Bam Adebayo, $37. Christian Wood, $36. Rudy Gobert, $34. Jonas Valanciunas, $39. I'm fine with that. It's so weird to say that out loud, but especially if you get no Ayton out there. JaVale McGee can be energetic. He can be, JaVale McGee with the Golden State, with the Lakers, with everybody. He's an excitable young man, but Jonas Valanciunas, 1.25 DraftKings points per minute here. Translates roughly to around 1.22, I think, was the number that I last saw for Yahoo. I mean, the guy is just putting up crazy numbers there, but starts to get interesting. Kelly Olynyk starting to be a part of this rotation until they got blown out against Brooklyn, but 27 minutes of him may be viable at $21, getting a little bit different, but Dwayne Dedmon, $10, sign me up for all of it if there's no Bam. What else are you seeing on Yahoo?
Yeah, Bobby Portis, $10. I think even if he gets 19, 20 minutes, I'll have some interest in Bobby Portis. $10 the min, but yeah, I think you touched on all guys. I mean, all these guys on Yahoo are priced appropriately, slashed a little too cheap, where another reason to mix and match, I really like spending down to Portis and because you can roster too, and Portis Valanciunas lineups sound intriguing. Portis Bam Adebayo lineups sound intriguing. So yeah, I think it just being able to spend down and opening up the utility spot works out pretty well. And I think you nailed the Kelly Olynyk thing. If you want to be early on Olynyk, he has shown an upside on bad teams to really ball out. Balled out for about 6 straight weeks in Houston towards the end of the season, which is really impressive.
Nicholas Batum is my favorite basketball player ever. Keep it going, young man. He's at 22.7. Oh, this could be fun. Oklahoma City's beating the Clippers because, of course, they are right now. 6 points up, late third quarter. Good times for them. Good times is my buzzword. Sorry. Ryan, another Slate starter in the books. We flew through this one. It was a 5-gamer. Nice. I'm sure Wednesday is going to be a gigantic slate, of which there is no end to this podcast. But until then, Ryan, any final words for the people?
Yeah, thanks so much for yet again tuning in, and good luck tomorrow.
Best of luck. He's Ryan. He's sponsoring FanDuel. I'm Eric. I'm a company man. I love Yahoo. We'll see you later.